In this video, we'll discuss installing the Juno OS. The Juno OS comes pre-installed on your Juniper device, but you can perform a software upgrade or downgrade by downloading from the Juniper support site. As I mentioned, you can install these new OS packages to perform upgrades or downgrades of the operating system itself. It is important to note, however, that installing new OS rebuilds the system. And what that means for you is that it does mean you could have potential loss of files, such as things like log files. What's important to note, though, is that your configuration is maintained when installing the new operating system. When you go to the Juniper support site and you download those operating system package files, the OS packages, they have a standard naming convention. And you can see here on the slide that the naming convention starts with the component that you're installing. So here, the Juno's OS will typically start with a jinstall. Now, if you are looking to install the 64-bit version, it'll have a jinstall 64. And then there's going to be a dash after that, and then you'll have the version of the software that you're looking at. After the version of the software, you'll then have the addition of the software. And in this example, I'm using the domestic version, which is the USA and Canada release of the software. We can also see that the software has been signed as well. So again, the 64-bit version will show with a 64 in the file name, so jinstall 64. We also have software bundles that you can download and install, and these are used to perform upgrades or downgrades between minor releases of the operating system. These software bundles only modify the required files that need updating, so the point here is it doesn't do a full overwrite of the system like a full OS package would. Now, the file names are similar to the file names of the OS package, except for they start with JBundle instead of jinstall. Now, you can actually perform the installation of your software from operational mode. You can use the request system software add command and then specify the file name and any parameters. So a couple parameters that we can use is the no copy parameter, which specifies not to copy the files and retain those files on the installation files on the device. We also have a no validate option, which does not perform validation of the software that you're installing against compatibility with your existing configuration. So that may not be something that you want to throw in as a parameter, because you may want to verify that the software you're installing is compatible with your existing configuration. So there is the exact opposite of no validate, and that's the validate option. We also have the reboot parameter as well, which tells it to reboot the system after the installation is complete. So as I mentioned, to install the operating system from that operational mode, we use the request system software add command. And as noted, it is a best practice to use the validate option when performing your installation, just to verify that the software is compatible with your existing configuration. The request system command also has a number of other options related to, maintaining or installing and maintaining that Juniper device. Two notes that I have here as far as commands that are very useful is performing firmware upgrades on the device itself. So we do have a request system firmware upgrade command, which will download any firmware upgrades. It will prompt you to verify that you do want to perform the firmware upgrade, but it's definitely a great thing to look to do before installing your new operating system. Maybe look to upgrading the firmware on the device itself. Also, you can update the licenses as well from the license server with the request system license update command. Again, these are both operational mode commands. So in this video, we discussed installing the Juno's OS.